We got some new folks in here today. Let's go ahead and remind you of protocols. As a courtesy to coaches, athletes, and your fellow media members, please silence your cell phones. When we get to the question and answer period, please raise your hand. Molly and Kylie will get a mic to you and give us your name and affiliation each time you ask your question. Reminder that recording of these press conferences on your cell phones is not allowed. And we'll take questions in the room first, and then if we have some Zoom, we'll do that too. So we'll have an extended session with the Oklahoma players, then we'll have Skip, and then we'll do a photo session, call Mike in here and get the two coaches together. We'll do still photography first. We'll get you all to get your still photography needs done first, and then we'll shoot some video of it also. So we'll wait here for the Sooners. Mississippi players coming in will be Justin Bench and Hunter Elliott when they come in. If you have needs for any other players, obviously just check with Mitch Praxel from Ole Miss or Eric Hollier from Oklahoma, and hopefully they'll take care of what you need. Of this press conference will be available at the NCAA Digital Media Hub pretty quick after the sessions are over, and transcripts will be posted also on the Media Hub.
How are you? Good to see you.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
Guys, we'll take our hats off. Welcome. I've already done the announcements, so Skip, give us an overview going into the championship series.
I think we're excited about playing Ole Miss. Congratulations to Ole Miss for making it too, as well as us, and looking forward to the opportunity to play the great game we love, it's baseball. And so it's about it for me.
Okay. Okay, questions for the student athletes. Let's start over here. Kylie.
Thank you. Eddie Radosevich, Soonerscoop.com, for Jimmy and Tanner. Just as far as this is obviously where you guys want to be playing in the series this weekend, but is there any sadness that this is kind of the end of the journey for you guys, and specifically with this group, knowing how great the chemistry has been all throughout the year?
Tanner, you start, please.
Yeah, I don't think there's any sadness. This is what we worked for the entire year. Everything has been leading up to this moment. I think we're just extremely excited to be in the position that we are, and that we have this opportunity with this group of guys. And how else would you want to finish it off?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, finishing this year with this type of group, we're going to be sharing memories for a lifetime. So, there's definitely no sadness. I think we're one big family, and we're going to be sticking through thick and thin with these guys. And, we're just going to enjoy every moment and then just keep going.
Back here in the middle.
Justin Martinez, the Oklahoman, also for Jimmy and Tanner. I think there was a tweet from one of Brett's old coaches saying that even when he's injured, he's one of those guys that's going to be able to help his teammates get better just from the dugout. Is that what you guys have also seen out of him since he got injured?
Oh, no doubt. I've been playing Brett with him since junior college. He's one of those guys that brings electricity in the dugout, which is key for us because once he brings energy to us, we take it out on the field. He's one of those guys he's going to do his role, and he's just going to help us out any way he can.
Well said.
Or ditto. Okay. Okay, back here in the back. Howard?
First of all, Howard Borden, KOB. I'm Omaha. Skip, congratulations to you in Oklahoma. Jimmy and Tanner, I always ask this question. As fans of the game yourself, besides playing the game, what do you admire about your opponent, Mississippi? Just thoughts on their style of play, the student athletes that you'll be playing the next 3 days.
Jimmy, you start.
They're a great group they're a good team. Any team that makes it here, they're going to be awesome. We're going to have to respect them, and we're going to, just stick with our game plan and do our thing.
No, yeah, they're in a lot of ways similar to us. They do a lot of small things well. They got power in the lineup. They're a really good ball club. They've been playing with a chip on their shoulder, just like we have. They were in question for regional, and they're here to make a statement just like we are. So they're going to be tough, but we're going to be ready for it.
Okay, over here.
Josh Calloway with All Sooners. Tanner, after the game the other day, I asked Skip about Jimmy and what he brings to the team in leadership, and obviously just a big part of the team. Not to put you on the spot with him sitting right next to you, but can you talk about just what he brings to the team in terms of leadership, but also just a big part of the team offensively and defensively?
No, yeah, Jimmy's a huge part of our team. One of the best things about Jimmy is he'll get on to you when he needs to, and there's not a whole lot of guys on the team that do that, call you out on stuff that's going on in the game. And it's not just, in the game of baseball, it's in life too. He's just always been that guy. He's a leader for us, but he's also a very explosive player, Jimmy can we call him Jimmy Barrels for a reason. The guy can swing it. Is a great leader behind the plate, just does a really good job for us, and really calms the pitchers down more than anything.
Okay, back over here.
Lee Benson from KWTV, News 9 in Oklahoma City. For Tanner, how would you describe, you guys have been here now for over a week, how would you describe the vibe around the team throughout all these days? You played fewer games and practices, it seems like. What's it like around? Is it different than it was at Supers, regionals? Or is it kind kind of the same as it's been for the last couple months?
No, it's to me, I think it's been pretty much the same. Obviously, all the extra things that we're doing here has been happening, but we're getting new fans left and right. But other than that, the team, charisma and everything like that has all been pretty the same. Practices have been the same, and we're taking it one day at a time. It's not like we're trying to make this bigger than it is. We're here to take charge and do what we do and win a championship, and that's all we've been looking at for the last 4 weeks.
Okay, back over here.
Yeah, Parker Thune, 24/7 Sports. Jimmy, Tanner, curious, as you look back at what has gotten you guys to this point, obviously you have to cite the starting pitching and gotten outstanding outings from Jake Bennett as well as Cade Horton and most recently David Sandlin. And wonder from an offensive perspective, could you talk a little bit about what a boost that is, what a lift that is to you guys as a lineup when you got a guy on the mound that's dealing?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, whenever pitching's dominant, it's going to help us as hitters because we know those guys are going to do their thing on the mound. Same with our bullpen guys. I mean, they've been really stepping up and doing their thing, just pounding the zone and just letting our defense work. And as a hitter, both of us hitters, once they do that, I think it gives us all the confidence in the world because, we're just going to stick with our approach and just stay relaxed in the box and, not let the moment get too big and just, stay composed and do our thing.
I think what's been so great is that we're feeding off each other. Is like when the offense isn't so good, the pitching's picking us up. And the pitching's not so good, offense is picking us up. And I think that's part of the reason why we've been so successful. Having that mindset, taking one pitch at a time, goes for both the pitchers and the hitters. So we've been able to execute it, and it's been working.
Okay, John.
Jimmy, John Sokoloff with WCBI TV in Columbus, Mississippi. Tanner already just kind of talked about this, but does it seem like Ole Miss's journey has kind of been similar to your guys, and has that been something y'all have thought about at all in terms of getting to this moment?
Oh, no doubt. Like he said, they have a chip on their shoulder, and so do we. They had a real tough journey. They were the last four in, and they've been battling their way all the way here. Same with us. So, we take into consideration, yes, but we're just, like I said, we're just going to stay composed and do our thing, and we're going to respect our opponent, and we're just going to stick with our game plan.
Okay.
Parrish Alford, Daily Journal, Tupelo, Mississippi. Guys, I'm wondering what have been your impressions? A lot of SEC teams in this College World Series. What have been your impressions of SEC baseball, and how do you see Oklahoma and Texas in the conference in the future relative to baseball?
Well, I think almost all the SEC teams are powerhouses. That's they're really good at recruiting. They got all the facilities and all that stuff. They bring a lot to the table. They're hard competition, a lot of talent, a lot of strength. But at the same time, that's not what baseball is all about. Baseball is about being a team and creating a good culture for your team. And in college baseball, it's about winning. So I think Texas and Oklahoma are going to fit just right in with the SEC. I don't think we're going to make it bigger than it is. We're just going to go into it, balls to the wall, and just get after it.
Yeah, you hit it around the spot.
Yeah.
Okay, next question for the players. Anything else? Okay, Ryan, back here.
Ryan McGee, ESPN. Tanner, and I talked to Elko about this too on the other side. What does it mean for you older guys who went through all that in 2020 and to be here on this stage now when this place was sitting empty in June just 2 years ago?
It's pretty special. And that year for us was hard too because I truly felt like that was another Omaha caliber team. So it was difficult, to take that in and accept that. But to be here 2 years later and to be doing what we're doing here now has just been unbelievable. I never would have thought that I'd be in this position. So it's been awesome, especially being my last year and everything. I'm just so grateful and glory to God.
Okay, up here.
Tarek Mosseri, Norman Transcript. For both of the players, early on in the season, Blake was so strong for you guys. I remember Skip saying that if the whole team kind of took his approach to every at bat, you guys would be a lot better. Now it seems like everybody's doing that. Can you just talk about how much he might have helped you, or what kind of turned the page for that?
Yeah, Blake was one of those guys that we kind of leaned on because he pretty much leads the team in walks, and we kind of take that into consideration with our approach. I mean, we're gonna try to swing at strikes most of the time, and just trying to hit it the middle away, and that's what B-Rob did so well this year. He's just he's getting the right pitches to hit, and that was a whole game plan coming in this. It's just swing at good pitches and just staying composed at the plate, and that's what pretty much B-Rob taught us pretty much in the cages. The little work that we did with him, and yeah, that's pretty much all he did with us. Yeah.
I think at the same time he's just a very relentless player. He hates striking out. Like it really bothers him. So he, when it comes to that stuff, he is all seriousness. So I think that's good in the sense that you're not backing down from your pitcher. And he's a perfect example of that. And I think he's carried that on throughout the whole team.
Okay. Eric, you had a look. Okay. Okay, any more questions for the student athletes then? Guys, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, guys. Okay, questions for Skip. And we'll start back over here. You're the first hand I saw.
Eddie Radosevich, Centerscoop.com. Skip, because the starting pitching has been so good, Carter, Carson, Ben, Chaz, those guys haven't pitched in 2 weeks. Is there any concern that they haven't been out there in a real game in the setting that they're going to be in possibly this weekend?
A little bit, but not much. I mean, you just pound the strike zone, it's the biggest thing. They're not going to lose any rhythm. They've been throwing bullpens. Every time we practice, we throw bullpens, and it's different. We got to go through a process of trying to make the bullpen game-like, but it's hard trying to use it as purpose. So we do that a lot, and I'm really proud of those guys as much as anything. When you have 27 guys on your team, every one of them have value at some point. Your job, if you're not in the lineup that day, is to pull for your teammate. We talk about the game's not fair at times to them either, and it's really in our world today. It's got to be as selfless as it can be, especially when you can just go, I'm not pitching anymore. I'm just going to go somewhere else and get on the portal, and that's what we have to deal with every day. And unfortunately, it's a bad system, and we got to continue to create hope. We got to continue to finish. We got to continue to talk to those guys to try to build them up. Hey, man, you never know who's going to make the most important pitch or who's going to have the most important at bat.
Okay, Brett.
Justin Martinez, the Oklahoman. Skip, I want to ask you about Brett. Just what have you seen out of him in terms of leadership post-injury?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that he does really well. He's been through it twice this year, and so he understands that side of it, and he might pick something off in the game itself, or help somebody through an at bat, or try to get into an at bat with that hitter. That's what we talk about, is trying to put yourself on the field even though you're not playing, and he's done a great job with that, and that leadership, that role that he's done, and that has been super.
Jesse Curtin and Norman Transcript. Skip, especially during the postseason, you guys have won in a variety of ways, whether it's explosive offenses or if it's more of a defensive battle. Just what can you say about your team's ability to find ways to win, and how big is that going into this championship series?
Well, I mean, just trying to win pitches. That's the biggest thing. And if it's hitting a home run, moving a guy over, or throwing a quality strike, or a quality breaking ball, or making a play in the middle of the field, or diving over whatever it means, those guys are going to do what they can to win a baseball game and to win that pitch. And we talk about winning pitch and being present and being in the moment on that pitch.
Okay, Lee.
Lee Benson from KWTV News 9 in Oklahoma City. Coach, Tanner was talking about how the team is feeling this kind of the same way it has been, ever since this run began. When you have the mantra of Team of Davids, but you're the only unbeaten team left in this tournament, is it difficult at all to make sure the guys still have that mentality that they are the Team of Davids now that you're the only team left that hasn't lost a game?
Well, they're going to go out and play the game one pitch at a time and try to play against the baseball. I mean, it's what we talk about. It's what we do. They're going to pick each other up. It's going to be fun. It's fun watching those guys play. I mean, you're kind of, as a coach, you're just like a bus driver, man. You're just trying to figure out who's going to be on the bus, and they're going to give you effort. And that's all you can ask out of them. You can't ask those guys to be somebody they're not. Just go out and give a good effort. And if we win that day, we win that day. If we don't win that day, you know what? It's going to be, the sun's going to hopefully come up tomorrow, and you're going to wake up. And that's what it's going to be like.
Okay, over here. Eric.
Nick Suss with the Clarion Ledger. Skip, Ole Miss has pitched it so well this postseason. What have you seen from them in your scout or even just watching games here that's allowed them to have that success?
Yeah, I mean, they pitch fearless. They pound the strike zone. They do a good job. Coach Bianco's been around for a long time. He understands that environment. He's a really, really good coach and runs a great program. And so it's who they are, that what they do. They were number one team in the country when we started. I mean, look at it. I mean, how many people y'all got coming to your games? Thousands and thousands and thousands. I mean, you look at the environment, what they play in. This environment's not any bigger environment that they play in at home all the time. And so he does a great job, and it's fun to be on the other side watching. It's going to be fun coaching against him.
Okay, Michael.
Michael Katz, Daily Journal. I think Jimmy and Tanner alluded to a little bit, but can you just talk about the similarities between your team and Ole Miss and just sort of the journey that you guys have had this year?
Well, John said it best. I mean, you look at the journey they've been told, they might not get in or might get in or whatever. They're going to fire Bianco or whatever. That was a joke. I mean, it's incredible because that guy's been last year they're wanting, LSU's wanting to hire him. And it's really what we live in our world in coaching and baseball every day. You're only as good as your last outing, which is not good. And I think the similarities are they're really talented. And we've got some talented folks in the middle of our field as well. Their shortstop's really good. Catcher's really good. And bench plays with his heart. We have guys that do the same thing. Their pitching's been really good. Our starting pitching's been really good. They've played with a chip on their shoulder ever since they got in. It's been fun to watch those guys. They played against a good Southern Miss team. Scott Berry's a great friend of mine. I had one of the best players I've ever had, best player I've ever seen in my life. Died in 2001. His name was Brian Coe. He played for me at Navarro in 1998. I don't know if you guys know a lot about who Brian Coe is, but he was a pretty special person. And he's from Mississippi, and I had a lot of good friends. Corky from Meridian, Mississippi, so it's a good fit.
Okay, John.
Hey, Skip, John Sokoloff, WCBI-TV down in Mississippi. You mentioned it with Nick's question there about the pitching, but Hunter Elliott, I mean, what have you seen from him, and what impresses you the most about the left-hander?
I mean, his delivery. He's kind of funky a little bit. He's going to pound the strike zone. It's going to be a great matchup. It's going to be a great opportunity for us. It's he is tough, and I mean that's what Coach Bianco brings. I mean, you can see the toughness in their team and how they play. It's going to be fun to go up against them.
Okay, Eric, and then we'll go to a Zoom call.
Hey, Skip. Eric Olson with the Associated Press. You've kind of touched on this in the past, but now that you're on the doorstep, could you just kind of comment a little bit on the potential for the sweep with softball on national titles and just how big of a deal that would be?
Well, I mean, that's what the University of Oklahoma is known about. There's only one, and we talk about that. And Patty's done a great job. I mean, she reminds me of Coach Garrido and what just being around her and what her presence and her team's been incredible. If we get the opportunity to do the same thing, we're here. And if it happens, that's great. If it doesn't happen, what are we going to do? Go fishing? That's what I look at it and go recruiting. So.
Okay, let's take a call from the Zoom. Please state your name and affiliation and your question.
Hey, Skip. Eli Letterman, Tulsa World. You've spoken about Mike, and I know you were both in Omaha in 2014. I'm wondering if you guys have any other previous connections before this week in Omaha.
Well, Coach McDonald coached for him at Ole Miss when he's the head coach at Louisville, and when I was at Navarro, they would come over and recruit our players. I mean, when I was at Navarro, so that's really the only action I've had really with Coach Bianco. And so, I mean, I've always, you go out and you watch the things that he's done, and you respect the things that he's done as a head coach and how he handles his business, and I think his son made the last out against the no-hitter against LSU in 2020, and it was a rocket hitting a 6-0, and Zaragoza backhand and throw across the infield, and you could see the both his sons are really good players, and it's been fun to watch those guys and watch him coach as a leader and a person that he is.
Back over here.
Josh Calloway with All Sooners. Skip, obviously Kendall was a huge part of getting you here. Hasn't found it with the bat yet here in Omaha. Just what have you seen from his at-bats this week, and how have you seen him, I guess, respond to, obviously still searching for that first hit here at the CWS?
Well, don't write about his first hit or not his first hit, because then he's going to start trying even harder, Josh. Hitting's hard. I mean, it's really hard. And he just continues the process of seeing good pitches. If he starts trying really hard, he's going to fail. This is what the game does to you. And so I know he's going to give us good effort, and I know he'll run in that wall. He'll try to climb the fence to catch a ball. He'll take a 95-mile-an-hour fastball off his jaw. I know all those things about him, and that's one thing that has been really good. When he starts trying to get hits and it makes it about himself and not make it about a team, then we won't be very good. It doesn't matter. But he's going to be playing left field because he plays with a passion similar to guys that we want to play.
Okay, Mike.
Mike Patterson, Omaha World Herald. Coach, just talk about the importance of that first game tomorrow night, and who's your starter going to be?
Jake Bennett. What was the first question? Talk about what?
The importance of the first game tomorrow night.
No, Jake Bennett will throw first, and then Horton on Saturday, and then we'll put figure it out on Sunday or on Monday.
Okay, Parrish.
Parrish Alford, Daily Journal, Tupelo. Skip, I asked this about your players, but could you just talk about what you think college baseball looks like when Texas and Oklahoma join the SEC?
The SEC is a lot like, the baseball programs are a lot like our football program. I mean, it's incredible. And looking forward for the opportunity. I love the Big 12. I've been in the Big 12 for a long time. It's great. We decided we had the best athletic director in the country. We decided to go to the SEC. That's great. We're looking forward to the opportunity, looking forward to playing against all those great teams. I know it's big environments. It's going to be great for our kids, good recruiting tool. Not that the Big 12 hasn't been. We're here today representing the Big 12. And I said it this morning on the ESPN radio. You look at West Virginia, they could be sitting right where we're at. Our conference was a really good conference this year. And it has been for the last 15 years that I've been in it. And we're just looking for the opportunity, and going to the SEC is going to make it's just a new step moving forward. And college baseball is changing, and we've got to continue to grow. And because at one time, baseball was a national pastime, and we got to continue to grow in that area. Because the game of college baseball, it's about the spirit of the game. And you get up there and you hear Boomer Sooner, or people screaming and yelling like they have here. That's what's incredible about it. It'll raise the hair, on your neck. I mean, that's what it's about. It's the passion that those guys put into it.
Okay, Skip. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to bring Coach Bianco in here now, and still photographers first.
No, I'm good, thank you.
They all just want pictures of my guy. That's not right. Yeah, that's what happens.
Pose them as you wish.
I've been listening to nice words in there.
Thank you.
Do you want to stand up or have you? Yeah, stand up. Okay, we're good for everything. Skip, thank you. And I think you can go.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Thanks, man.
Michael, come over here.
Okay.
Players do their thing over there. And then here, same procedure as every other news conference. Okay, we'll do this just like the other ones and start with a comment from Mike.
Well, obviously, a good morning for us to, still be here in Omaha and to wake up with a, great opportunity in front of us. And I know the guys are excited. Probably the number one question most asked is, who will start on Saturday. And I'm sorry to inform you, and Hunter's sitting here, so we're not sure who we'll go with. Obviously, little short rep.
40 guys we had on our team at the time, we never stopped believing. And, we're here now, and the NCAA put us in, and, now we're playing for a national championship.
Hunter?
Yeah, like you said, just a ton of belief in the guys. And, we've always thought we were this good. I mean, I think at one point we were ranked number one or whatever. But like in baseball, sometimes you scuffle, and we were scuffling there for a while, but we just continued to believe and knew we were good enough, and we ended up here.
Okay.
Michael Katz, Daily Journal. This one's for you, Hunter. A year and a half ago, you're pitching in high school at Tupelo, and now you're here in the College World Series Championship Series. What has this ride been like, and have you taken a moment to kind of take it all in on what the last year's been like?
It's been a lot of fun. Had a lot of ups and downs. Like Coach B, our motto this year is enjoy the ride, enjoy the ups and the downs, and we've had those, and I've had those. I think everyone on the team has had those. But it's been a fun journey. Obviously, like everything in sports and in baseball, you just enjoy every minute of it. So it's been a lot of fun.
Okay, Howard.
Howard Borden, KOVM Omaha. Mike, congratulations to you. To you, Justin, Hunter, and your team. I asked this to the Sooner student athletes. Besides playing the game, as a fan of college baseball, guys, what are your thoughts on Oklahoma and their style of play, your opponent for the next 3 days? Thank you, and best of luck.
Hunter?
Yeah, obviously they're a really good team if they're here. I mean, we haven't done a ton of scouting yet. I'm sure we'll do that later today and tomorrow morning, so we don't know, a ton about their hitters or stuff like that yet. But, I mean, they're obviously really good. Their pitching staff's really good. We know that. Their hitters are really good, and all the respect in the world for them.
Yeah, similar to Hunter, you have to be a good team to make it, to the national championship. And, I know they have some good arms and some good hitters. And like you said, we're gonna go over that later today and early tomorrow, to learn more about it.
Okay, John.
John Sokoloff with WCBI TV down in Columbus, Mississippi. This is for both you guys, but I guess, Justin, we'll start with you. You played in a ton of games for this program, but would you say this year's group, y'all's confidence is at an all-time high kind of at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't think we've ever lost confidence or belief, but right now, winning, I don't know how many, 8 of the last 9 games we played, it's just when we step on that field, we're going to have the belief and confidence, to get the job done.
Okay, we'll go to the Zoom now. Please give us your name and affiliation and ask your question.
Yeah, Mitch Davis of the MitchDavisShow.com. Guys, congratulations on the win. Talk about that moment watching DeLucia out there dealing, and talk about the locker room after, and talk about just the environment. You guys really seem to be believing in something bigger than yourself right now, and just talk about that term, because you guys were left for dead, and here you are in the National Championship Series.
Go ahead, Hunter.
Yeah. I kind of lost track of the question. But yeah, it was awesome watching DeLucia out there, man. Honestly, from him, you expect stuff like that. He's a special guy, a special pitcher, our ace and our guy. So when you run him out there, even on short rest, even on times like that, you expect him to do big things, and that's what he did last night. And he really lifted this team, and we're excited for him and everybody. And just after the game on the bus in the locker room, just a ton of excitement, but like a feeling of we're not done. We came here to win a national championship, and that was our only goal.
Justin?
I think he covered it all.
Okay. Okay, back in here in the back.
Jared Redding, Inside the Rebels on 247sports.com. Hunter, what have you taken away the most from some of these, more older and experienced guys like Justin Bench and Tim Elko from a leadership standpoint?
Yeah, it's a long season. You got to keep going and just keep believing. Like I said, I don't think I've ever been in a season this long or this many games, and I don't think I've probably ever pitched this many innings, but it's just coming to the ballpark every day, looking to get better, looking to be the best teammate you can be, and those guys have done a great job of showing that.
Okay, right here.
Austin Elders with Rebel Walk. Justin, for you in particular, I think a similar question was asked to OU, but you were part of that 2020 team that was on a roll, and then the season got cut short. So how much more meaningful is it for you now to have made it to this point?
Yeah, I mean, that season was unfortunate. We were on a good run there, but a lot of players came back the next 2 years, and our job's not finished. We have 2 more games to win, and that's what we're here to do.
Okay, Jordan.
Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald for Justin. You've been on some teams that were close to Omaha in the past. I'm curious, what's maybe the single biggest thing about this team that's allowed you guys to get here and now to where you are?
I've said it before, our belief, I would say. Freshman year and junior year, we were that one game away. Just keep putting ourselves in that situation, to make it to Omaha every year. Coming down to that one game, and we got to do it this year, and it's a cool feeling.
Okay, right here.
Chase Parham, Rivals.com. Hunter, just when do you throw? What is sort of the process for figuring out how you feel for either Saturday or Sunday? What's the kind of the goal there?
Yeah, I'll show up to practice today, stretch it out, throw a little bit, do some arm care, see how I'm recovering, see how I feel. Obviously I want the ball tomorrow or whatever day that I can get it. So we'll just have to see.
Okay, look over here.
Nick Suss with the Clarion Ledger. Justin, have you and Tim and Kevin and Chof kind of had any chance to reflect while you've been here about getting here as seniors, or have you kind of just been laser focused on task ahead?
We've just been focused on one game at a time, but you can't help but look around and see that you're playing for the World Series, and it's a speechless moment for all of us and this team and coach and everything.
Okay, more questions for the student athletes? If not, guys, thank you. Congratulations, and we'll see you tomorrow. If you have any other needs for student athletes, just check with Eric or with Mitch and Alex, and they'll take care of you. Okay, Parrish, you'll start. Questions for Mike.
Parrish Alford, Daily Journal, Tupelo. Mike, Butch Thompson was talking earlier this week about trying to come from the losers bracket, and he had reached out and talked to some coaches who had done that here. I'm wondering, do you reach out and talk to anyone about the championship round, and what experiences do you take from championship teams that you were a part of at LSU?
It just happened last night, and our path here obviously a little different than Oklahoma's. They sat on Wednesday or won, and have been sitting for a couple days. And a little sooner, one of the questions earlier, the guys haven't seen or heard anything about Oklahoma besides what they've watched on the College World Series. Let them enjoy last night. We'll practice today, and we'll start breaking down video and kind of get more into our normal 3-day routine as far as our prep for the game. As far as specific to your question, the only one I've spoken to is Coach Burtman, and spoke to him I think it was Tuesday, and gave some advice. Don't want to be too specific with it, but talked about some of the things that I talked about earlier. I think, especially with the beat writers, about being conscious, of the time and the time off to make sure that that you keep them busy, that it's structured, that you know what you're doing, but also to give them time to enjoy it, to stay loose and to stay calm, and and I think it's kind of a juggle, with that, but not as much. I think, playing yesterday, it would have been a little more of a juggle with the 2 days off for us. But, now it becomes fast and furious. We get back to the hotel last night, eat dinner, and try and answer a lot of texts and emails, and as many as you can anyway. And then you wake up this morning, you have all of this. You get a couple hours of media and ESPN and photo shoots and those types of things. And then you got practice. We'll have a team, dinner tonight with all the players and their families and whatnot. But yeah, the only one that I've spoken to is Coach.
What do you remember most about the 3 championships?
Hold on, Parrish. Let's go up here. One question at a time, please.
Mike, John Sokoloff, WCBI TV down in Columbus, Mississippi. You mentioned that advice that you gave those guys, and you shared that with us at Creighton a couple days ago. While it's a business trip, you also want them to enjoy it. But what about you? I mean, how much have you been enjoying this, and what have the last 12 hours kind of been like for you?
The last 12 hours, like I said, I went back home after the game. Ate a sandwich in the hotel, started to answer a lot of text messages and emails, a lot of ticket requests, and a lot of I'm sorry, I'm out of tickets. But it's been awesome, as you can imagine. And we've tried to do that. And my whole family's here. So, that's a cool thing to have your entire family here. But they've been really generous, with me, where, when I go to my room, they let me go to my room and do what I need to do. But they've enjoyed it, and it's been cool to see them, after the games, and to get the hugs and the kisses and all that. So that it's been a neat part, and I think that's what this is. You're here for a long time. When you get to this point, you've been here for 10 plus days, and there's got to be some time where you decompress a little bit and sit back and enjoy it. And I think that's what Justin was saying. I mean, you want to stay locked in, and you realize it's one game at a time, one pitch at a time, and that's how we play everything. But because this is so long, there's got to be times that you step away, and for the kids to go eat a steak in Omaha with their family and enjoy this. This is what it's all about, right? I mean, you do it to have fun, and you're hoping that they're all going to find some enjoyment of this.
Jake Thompson, Ole Miss Spirit. My kind of question asked to Justin about that group from 2020, and everybody's seasons was cut short, and kind of the start y'all had, and kind of chatter of Omaha. But what has it meant now to get those older guys to now take this journey with them and get them here, and what has it kind of meant, if y'all been able to kind of think of it that way?
Yeah, I guess I don't, the COVID shortened season, that seems forever ago. It really does. I think it would have, and not to criticize your question, that would have been a better question last year if we were to make it. You're right. That team was off to a great start, but as we've seen, just great starts don't do it. Right, you got to play the whole season, and there's a lot of guys that are in our dugout now that were in that meeting room on whatever day it was, March 15th, where we had to tell them to go home, and a lot of tears, and very emotional day for us, and for the rest of the country and the world, right? I mean, we didn't really know what to tell them at that point, except for we were told that they have to leave and they have to go home, and we don't really know what this is all about, but the season's canceled, at least as far as we know, and so that was a tough day. I remember that. It'll always be cemented in my brain. But as far as the players and how affects or relates to this point. I think I know this is not what your question was, but I think it's really cool, the story of the bench and Elko and Graham and others that had opportunities last year after that season, a great season, but ended up, one game short of being here to come back for one more ride and one more chance at it. How cool is that, to be here and to still be here, with the two teams remaining.
Okay, Nick.
Nick Suss with the Clarion Ledger. Mike, Skip was talking a little bit about the recruiting trips that you and Dan would take when he was coaching at JUCO. What do you remember about those trips, and do you see any similarities between his teams now compared to the kids he was coaching all that time ago?
And again, back to the default, we haven't watched them. I've looked at, a lot of, stats last night and this morning, but I haven't started watching video. Just a really crazy good offense. I mean, when you look, you don't see those types of numbers, in our league especially. I think 145 stolen bases out of 188 attempts. We probably haven't had 188 attempts in 3 years of stolen bases. So not only do they steal at a high percentage. You have 3 guys that have over 20 stolen bases. And I think, somebody will pull this out, but I can't remember playing a team that had a guy that had over 20 stolen bases this year, except for Vanderbilt and Enrique Bradfield. I don't remember looking down at a stat sheet and seeing somebody that had over 20 stolen bases. They have 3 of them. And then they have 3 more that have double digits. And so, but they still hit the homer. They got 70-plus homers. They hit about 300 as a team. They score a lot of runs, and they do it in a lot of different ways. They bunt. They got almost 40 sacrifice bunts. So just a really good offense. I don't know Skip well. We're in 2 different leagues, and our paths, besides some recruiting, the early days with Dan McDonnell, trying to get as many players out of the Texas JUCO system as possible. But beyond that, to watch, we missed him when I think he got to Texas in 07, 08, somewhere in there. So he wasn't part, I don't believe, of the 05 staff when they came to Oxford for that super regional. But no, he did a great job, obviously at Texas, and then what he's done at Oklahoma, speaks for itself. So a lot of respect, and the people that I do know that know him always speak so highly of him. What a class act he is, and does it the right way, and that's he's done a terrific job.
Okay, right here.
Coach, Chris Miller of the Rebel Walk. Obviously, you're wearing the powder blue uniform today, and the question around town is, when are the Rebs going to wear the powder blue uniforms? So is this a lean that we're going to see the powder blue uniforms on Saturday?
Yeah, wow. Pressure. So let me explain it so we can really we let the starting pitcher decide. DeLucia usually wears red, and he's wore it the whole second half of the season. I can't believe we're doing this in the press conference. So when we got to the regional, and we had to play the opening game, we had to play Arizona, who's also red and navy. They were the home team, and they got to choose what uniform, so they chose red. And so DeLucia said, yeah, go wear navy. So he wore navy, pitched really well, and we won. Hunter's always worn navy. So we wear navy the next day. We actually wore red in Game 3 in Coral Gables, but then DeLucia, and it's kind of went that way. And really, even Gaddis's start, the NCAA asked us uniform choice before we chose pitcher. So we've been pretty good in the Navy. I guess we'll go Navy. So it's kind of been that. So it's probably been less superstition than people have said. But I thought we made a rookie mistake when we came for the first day when we came for the media, because I forgot we were going to do a lot of video. And we thought, gosh, we should have worn the powder blue, because that would have been a little more pop for the ESPN videos and whatnot. And so that was really the reason we're wearing it today, because we wanted to look good. And now you know the rest of the story.
Chase.
Chase Parham, Rivals.com. Mike, how's TJ Stump holding up? Just how's he handled that this week?
Good. I don't really think the thumb is as an issue. He's still, as you can see, it's heavily taped, and but I don't think it's necessarily an issue of does he play or not play, or what he can do, or I don't think it limits him.
Okay, Eric.
Hey, Mike. Eric Olson with the Associated Press. Same question I asked the players. You know, you guys are the last team in, and here you are. I guess how do you kind of process that, the journey you've been on since Memorial Day?
Well, I've said it, you know, before. I don't remember a time in my 22 years, but COVID, 21 years of tournament play or postseason, sitting there waiting for your name to be called on Memorial Day. Some years we knew because we were already a host. Some years maybe we weren't host, but we felt very comfortably in. And there's been years like this year where we didn't know, and sometimes it doesn't go the way you want. And three times out of the 21 years we didn't. And in those years, we were 14 and 16 twice and 13 and 17 once. So we were right in there, right on that bubble, and it didn't work. And so there was, I think, a very uncomfortable feeling on that day. And I don't remember ever hearing our name called on that day and seeing just joy and just the enthusiasm that I saw in the guys. They were certainly, you could use relieved, but I think maybe a better word would be excited. And since that moment, we weren't the 64th team. I try to say that. I mean, we're a good baseball team, and I think everybody would vouch for that. There's 31, automatic bids and 33 at-large bids. Now, were we the 33 at-large bid? Maybe, but one that we felt sitting in that room we deserved to get in. You just don't ever know, and we're really glad they let us in.
Okay, we have a question on Zoom right now. Please state your name and affiliation in the question.
Mitch Davis at MitchDavisShow.com. Coach, you and I talked about in the preseason on the podcast about what the program meant to you, and obviously meant a lot to you and your family. But I want to ask you about what this team in particular means to you. I mean, you've mentioned that you guys have overcome a lot. Now you're sitting here playing for a national championship. What does this team in particular mean to you?
They're all special, and I say that as a coach. Every team's different. Every year's different. The players, the personnel's different. The coaching staff's different, and the season is different. And this year's no different. But this is a really neat group of guys. Guys that are just not only terrific players and terrific teammates, but just genuine, I think, great representatives, of our university that do it the right way. They're just really good kids. And our story. We've haven't had the easiest road to get here. And I think it teaches us all. I think even as a coach that's been in it, 30 plus years, it teaches you these lessons that I'm surely will use down the road. When you hit some adversity, that hey, you think you have it tough now. Well, this team, did this. This is where they were, and this is where they ended up. And as Justin said several times, and Hunter, I think it came from belief in themselves. First, that they were good players, but then also belief in one another that we're a good team and we can do this, and especially if we stick together. So it's been really neat, as you can imagine. A lot of these questions are tough to answer, I think, right now in the moment. Sometimes it's a little easier to answer those questions, when you have a little more perspective after the year. But it's been as Hunter said, it's been a neat ride, and it's been a pleasure to be a part of.
Okay, back over here.
Trey Wallace, Outkick Fox. You've talked a lot about the whole season and leading up to the point of getting into the postseason, but how tough was the SEC for you guys this year, and how much did it prepare you guys for this run that you have been on through regional, super regionals, and now the College World Series?
The SEC, for those that aren't, it's just a gauntlet. It's just to navigate through. There's no off weekends. There's no bye weekends. It's every weekend you better be ready to go to war, and you play in the nicest stadiums in front of the largest crowds against the best players in the country. Week in and week out, and this is not a surprise, and I don't mean it for us, but a team that went 14-16 in our league, that came in 9th place, is sitting here. I think Vanderbilt, some of my beat writers out here might know better. When Vanderbilt in 14 won a national championship, I want to say they were like 15-15 in our league, something like that. But more to your question, I think going through that 10-week gauntlet, going from week to week, it does prepare you, I think, for postseason. It prepares you for big crowds. It prepares you for great competition. Prepares you for pressure-type games and being able to make pitches and make plays and get the big hits. Unfortunately, it will beat you up, and it's very unforgiving. There's such a thin line in our league from winning and losing, and not on the weekend, but every single game, that you can be pretty good, but this playing in our league can make you not feel that way. And surely, there was probably times this year where, it was tough to feel like you had a great team, because of, that's what the SEC can do to you.
Okay, this will be our last question, Austin.
Hey, Coach, Austin Eldridge with Rebel Walk. I'm curious from a coaching perspective, because we hear this from the players a lot, but in particular yesterday there's a photo of you kind of tipping your cap to the fans after the game. From a coaching perspective, what does it mean to see that fan support in the stands in moments like this?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, but never a doubt. You knew, you saw it in 14 when we got here. I don't look up in the stands a lot, but I heard, what a tremendous crowd we had, and what a neat atmosphere, on a Thursday. I don't know how many people were here, but, I would think one of the most attended, midweek, events here, in the College World Series. 2 great fan bases, but when you look up and see all that, red and blue, and you can see how passionate they are. So excited, and I get a kick, some of the pictures that I've seen, afterwards, the fans and just the emotions and some of the videos, the short videos after a big pitch or a big play, man, they're invested, and it's really cool. And, that helps, it's helped us at Swayze Field, and certainly, it's helped us here.
Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks.